Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. And I'm going to talk for a little while, see who's going to get on here tonight. I know it's been about 3 or 4 days since I've been on. I apologize. Sort of, kind of, not really. Been busy. Several people are en route, basically, preparing to move. Takes a lot out of them, and I know I've been on the instigator of several moves like that, and it takes a lot of time on my part and a lot of time on their part. I know to see a whole family uproot their lives and move across 2 and 3 states takes a lot of effort and time. So, all right. So I titled this "Have Your Boat Ready." I'm going to link a prophecy, personal prophecy by some person in Florida, Texas, Arizona, wherever they're at the moment. Ministry, Spirit Move Ministry. You can look that up. And I'm not saying I subscribe to or hold to the entire prophecy, because some of it I would not agree with. We're going to make America great again with Trump. I don't think that's going to happen. Have a great revival throughout the entire United States, and the whole United States is going to get saved. I don't know. I'm thinking we're going to get judged. I think God's kind of past the point of pouring out blessings that people don't deserve. So we'll see. If it happens, it happens, and I would love to see it happen, and I'll hope that it happens. But I'm not going to hold my breath. So like the rapture, I'm not going to hold my breath for that. Okay, so anyway, let's moving right along there. A couple people on. Hi, how you doing? Pop in, say you're going to say who's on. Zap and Kaboom, how you doing there? William Gray, good evening, sir. How you doing? I didn't quite get one of your last messages there. Swells work too, or something like that. I didn't quite understand that. So anyway, it's personal prophecy. It has a lot of things I would kind of agree with, because have your boat ready is where I took the phraseology from for tonight's talk. And that is, get ready to move. I've been telling you that all along. If you think you may be moving, get ready. You know, have your boat ready, have your tires ready, have your car ready, have your bearings greased, have your wheels checked, get new tires if you need new tires. And people are doing that as I speak. I know a friend from out in Colorado's en route, going to come out here very shortly. I think I don't know, maybe another week or two. Hopefully, I'll still be here when he gets here. Hello there, Rock, if you're on. Um, yeah, I've been madly just looking at properties for a family out in wherever they're coming from, Virginia, Tennessee, something like that. I'm not sure. Doesn't make any difference where they're coming from, because they're from there, not here, not to there. So it doesn't make any difference where you're coming from. Just get out here. Water's great. Come on, water's fine. All that type of thing. So one thing I'd be curious about is, if can you do captioning? Somebody say yes or no. Are you? Can you go to YouTube and click on? Do you know how to do that? Click on captioning, because one woman had to unsubscribe because she couldn't get captioning, and I was like, well, that's on. Yes, I could do it for my channel. It's very difficult. I've tried to watch a bunch of videos. I haven't found one yet that worked for me. But you can also, anybody can go to YouTube and go to settings and click on, settings, and then go to language captioning, and click on it and have captioning. It's pretty good. It works pretty good. I try to talk as clearly as I can. I mean, given whether I'm really tired or really exhausted, I know I slur a lot of words, and that's partly due to the stroke I had, but I'll try to speak as clearly as possible and as slowly as possible. If you start speaking fast, and you start slurring words, mixing up words too. So anyway, that's one concern. Um, so I would like to, anybody that's out there that is possibly going to move, get as many things in order as possible. Get your ducks in a row, as they say. Um, have your vehicle in top condition if that's what you're going to have to do. One couple, I advised them to, ship their stuff, and they did. They got a shipping container, put all their stuff in it, shipped it out here, and then they even got a car hauler to haul their 2 cars out. And they just got on a plane and flew out. That was from Massachusetts, yeah, East Coast. So anyway, that's one way to do it. Just fly out, Another family packed up lock, stock, and tomahawk. Big truck, big trailer, family van hauling another trailer, and moved out sight unseen. Just moved up from South Dakota. So hello there, Mickelsons, Catherine, Bill, and Catherine. And they didn't have a job, didn't have a place to stay or nothing, but they went down to Arkansas, found a place to stay, and got a job, and just have been doing wonderful since then. All right, so it can be done. I'm not recommending that for everybody, but in a lot of cases, they're like, well, I don't know if I want to spend the money for a visit, because would cost $1,000 or so. Don't, just come on out. I had this one family made that commitment and not gone to visit Arkhaven. Probably think it would have saved them a couple thousand dollars that they could have put into down payment on a property, which they could have found. They could have found and bought a property while they were here. So that's another question: is do you want to put 10 acres, $100,000 into 10 acres, or when you can buy a farm for that? So that's a big question. So that's a issue that people need to confront and deal with, ahead of time. Do I really want to go that? Which route do I want to go? Well, some people have been buying land, owner finance, and that's okay. It's not the best thing to do, but you can do that. Um, it's worked for some people, owner finance land. If you want to go that route, you could look for OWC, owner will carry, or FSBO, for sale by owner. You can get online and filter. You can put FSBO, and you should pull up property just for that. There's quite a few companies that do that. I can name at least 4 off the top of my head. OzArk Land, Neil Shelton, Instant Acres, Homestead Crossing, which is maybe the best of the 3. I don't know. Ben Zitting out here does it, has traditionally done it, but he doesn't have any properties for sale right now. That's Lakeland, Benco, or Lakeland Properties. Stockton Lakeland is what you look under. And I met a guy, Jeff. I remember his name was over by Fairgrove. He had some properties listed for sale. Nice one, really nice one. One that had power on it, one that did not. 2 10-acre lots, and it was a pretty decent price back then. Anyway, that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away now. We're far removed from picking up a 10-acre farm for $20,000. A family from California bought a 10-acre farm for $14,000. That beat us out. It had a mobile home on it that they complained to the realtor that, well, we'll have to tear that down and we'll have to get it hauled off. That's going to cost us a couple $1,000 to get rid of that thing, clean up the mess. So they got it for cheaper than they would have paid, and then they lived in the mobile home while they built a house. And they had money. I mean, they had money coming out their ears. A little girl, 14 years old, said, Daddy, I think I'm going to buy some more gold. I think that's a good idea, honey. So here's a little 14-year-old daughter asking her dad about buying more gold. How much does she already have? Probably plenty. So anyway, cool deals. But so the question about moving and being ready to move. So if you're in the process of maybe being ready to move, make sure that your vehicle is in complete top condition. Do whatever you have to do to make it ready. Get your boat ready. Have your shoes ready. Have your feet shod. With preparation of the gospel of peace. And have faith. Have faith. Believe that it's going to happen, and it will. Be bold. Have faith. Be strong and of a good courage. Neither be thou dismayed. Have I not commanded thee? So I tell people this. People talk about being children of Abraham, having faith and everything. And when God told Abraham to move, guess what? Abraham left. He'd moved. He didn't complain. He didn't whine. He didn't postpone it. He didn't say, well, I got to sell this and I got to sell that and I got to buy something and I got to buy this and I got to get that and I got to do my new tires. New shoes on my camels and new water bags and new tents and stuff. He just moved. And he had like 300 people in his organization, his group, his family, his tribe. He had a small army because when it came down to somebody getting kidnapped, he went and took his army and went and got him back. Lot and his family were kidnapped. So, yeah, the message is to get ready, because I'm believing seriously that things are gonna get worse. And part of the prophecy that I would agree with is that 3 dark years coming up. Okay, I could see that very definitely. She says starting mid-February. Well, we're past that point. We're into the end of February, so 3 dark years going into 2024, and then I could see that. I could agree with that. And another thing that part of the prophecy that I don't know if it's part of the prophecy, but she talks about repeating. Yeah, it is in the prophecy that she gave, that people who give and tithe and support ministries will be blessed and protected and provided for. And that makes all kinds of sense to me because it dovetails one person on the comment section, well, oh, somebody telling you to give money, that's false prophet, false prophet. Well, hello, the ox is not, don't muzzle the ox that treads the grain, and that's always said in reference to supporting leadership. So if you have leadership, if you're listening to leadership, support them. Begin to tithe. If you haven't ever tithed, start now. Give. I'm not saying the Levites, strangers, widows, orphans. It was to support the poor, widows, orphans, and strangers in Israel, and the priests. So, begin supporting ministries. If you're being blessed by a ministry, if this one, I don't care who. I'm not saying me, but if you're being blessed, support them. Tithe. Give something, and that'll be coming back as a blessing, because what dovetail with is that prophecy, that not the prophecy, but the end times vision that given to that woman who had a near death experience. I mentioned it many times. Is the book is there is no death, and the chapter 4 in that book is called I See the Future, and I read it online. So you can go to my channel, look up I See the Future by Sarah Lanelle, Lanelle, Menet, Minet. It's a French word, Menet. Sarah Lanelle Menet. Okay, look that up, and I read it because I was so awed by it, because it says exactly what I see. But here's the thing I'm getting at, is that points of light that she saw were people praying. The light was coming from people praying. She called them cities of light, but the light was coming from people who were praying. And that's what she saw: light, people praying. They knew something bad was going to happen. They prepared ahead of time. They had leadership. They had food, and they shared that food. So they were willing to share and give and be blessings to other people. Those were the only places in the entire United States that were protected from the hordes of marauding killings. I'm trying to get back online. It says mobile hotspot's on. I should be okay. I don't know why it dropped off. I think I'm still connected. Somebody say if hello Leah, shalom. Ray Sova, hello there, buddy. How you doing? So we got Zept and Kaboom, who never much says anything. Jeremiah Shine is on. Hello, Jeremiah, William, Ray, Leah, Zept and Kaboom, who doesn't say anything, but does tithes outside of church to the needy the same thing? Tithes, yeah. I would say so. Now, that's if it's sincere. I'll tell you where I'm at with that whole thing. I've never, I don't know, about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I realized I am accumulating things to help people. The Bible says, bring the tithe into the storehouse. Okay, that's what it says in Malachi. Bring the tithe into the storehouse. It's literally talking tithe. The word is used tithes, and it is tithes. Does that mean bring money into the church and give it to the pastor so that they can build a new addition, and they can buy new choir robes and do whatever they want to do with the money? And very few churches, I'll tell you this, very few churches do anything for homeless people. The purpose of the tithe was to help widows, orphans, strangers, and priests. I'll say that again. Widows, orphans, strangers, and priests. Okay, needy people. God has a real place in his heart for the poor and the downtrodden, for orphans. Okay, don't mess with the orphan and the widow. Read Psalm 94 if you have any doubt about that. I mean, it's very powerful. And if you want to look it up, I'll try to remember to put the link. Somebody should take notes and send me a text or an email with the notes of what thing I talked about. I'll send you the link. I'll try to remember to send you the link for Psalm 94. I think I'll be able to do that because I love it. By Sons of Korah. One time my daughter was like, there should be a band that all they do is do Psalms. And boom, she found Sons of Korah, and we've gone to a lot of concerts, but we've never heard them because they're from New Zealand. And we never heard them live. But phenomenal group. I mean, they have done a lot of concerts around the world, and just phenomenal stuff. Really, really blessed stuff. But their Psalm 94 is very powerful, very powerful. Listen to it, okay? Okay, so what I realized was I said, I'm storehousing stuff. I'm warehousing stuff. This is a storehouse. I am a bishop, basically. The Mormons have a bishop storehouse. You can go in and get food. we can walk. For my family farm, we could walk. My children could walk over to the store in the Mormon Ranch and sign a book, IOU for $50 or whatever. They told us that you never need to go hungry. Just come in and get what you need. Pay us when you can. So they had a little, it was open like once a week only, but for a few hours. But so it was a place where you could go and get a lot of really good stuff. Really good quality food. Now they've got an actual small market called the Kinfolk Market. It's everybody local providing stuff, walking canes, you name it. Crafts, arts, crafts, food. My son's meat is in there, frozen meat grass-fed beef that he raises. So very awesome. So, but storehousing is providing for people. Okay, so if you're providing for poor people, literally and honestly providing for poor people, yeah, yeah. I bought everything from cross-country skis and poles and boots and sleeping bags and liners and jackets and socks, gloves, wool blankets, everything for since 1980. For 42 years now, I've been buying that stuff every time I can. Boots, if there's a good pair of boots, I'll buy them. And I have a saying: "Who fits gets." My grandkids come over and I say, "Who do these boots fit? Who gets them? Who gets them is who fits them. Who gets them is who fits them." I just buy them for somebody. They're high quality of $5. And they're a $40, $100 boot. I'll buy them just for the heck of it. Just because they're good value, an investment in somebody's feet in the future. That's one thing we got to have is good feet, good shoes, good boots, good shoes. Get good shoes, get good boots. So okay, so anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm really believing that things are going to break loose here very shortly. I'm seeing that happening, and 3 people right now want to get here. 4, okay, 4 families, 4 people, 2 single men, 1 single woman, and a family. I'm working with 4 people right now. I'm losing track. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 people that would like to be here. Okay, yesterday. I wish they were here yesterday or last year. But hey, I'm doing what I can, and so that all it takes money for them. If anybody, what I'd like to see is a fund set up for helping people move, like a continuous immigration fund. Where okay, you need $100 for this person, for gas or something. It's the money's there available. People could feed into that. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. If we should really set up a tithe operation and a treasure or something. But for now, my email address is my PayPal address if you want to do that. If you have any capability of doing that, uh, dmnds2001 @yahoo.com, and I'll put it in the comments below in the description. Okay, but I'll say that again slowly. Delta Mike November Delta Sierra 2001 @yahoo.com. Okay, Dan, Mary, Nancy, Dan, Sam at Yahoo. 2001, the number 2001 @yahoo.com. That's my PayPal address. So anyway, it's been a blessing over the years. People every once in a while just poof, something shows up, and I'm like, oh, it's always a blessing and always needed. Because I've always got 1,000 projects going. Right now I'd like to buy a whole roll of fabric to make grow bags for greenhouses. I've brainstormed all this things, how to do stuff, how to build things, how to make things, and that's one of my latest projects. I've got 2 impulse sealers to make grow bags. You can make a 1-gallon grow bag for like 13 cents. And I want to get a roll of a 1,200-foot roll, 4 foot by 300 feet. And that'll make about, I forget, 600 grow bags. 1,400 divided by, anyway, 1,200, 600. Yeah, make 600 grow bags. It takes 2 square feet to make them. So you about 1,200 by 2. Yeah, 600 grow bags. That's a lot of grow bags. That's a lot of food. They're great for doing lettuce, even tomatoes, and you can move them. You can pick them up and move them. They're portable. The cool thing about them is the grow bags. If you have look for on my playlist, go to my playlist and find the playlist I did on this because I got about 50 videos on it already. But the thing is, you can have a tray of any kind, like cut 2-inch deep tray, put gravel in it, fill it with water, put your grow bags in it, then put the rocks in, then put the water in. The reason for the rocks is to prevent mosquitoes from growing. If you don't have a problem with that, fine. You can also put something else on them, but so you put water in there, and then the grow bags sit in there, so the roots go down to seek the bags will naturally wick the water up from the dirt that's in them, and the fabric itself will wick the water up, and the roots they want water, so they did grow down to the water, so it makes a really strong, good root system, which makes the plant's going to be bigger and healthier too. So they're a phenomenal way to grow plants. look on eBay for bamboo plants. A bamboo plant in a bag is $30, so you can grow, I don't know, like 2,500, well, whatever. Let's say on a quarter acre, you can grow enough bamboo in bags to make about $60,000 or $70,000 a year. Just figure it out. Do the math on it. Or there's a video actually on that called $60,000 a month or $75,000 a year by raising bamboo on a quarter acre. Quarter acre. You get a lot of bamboo on a quarter acre in little bitty bags, 1 gallon bags, 2 gallon bags, 3 gallon bags, whatever. How big you want to make them. Depending on how big the plant is. Depending on how big the plant is, of course. But you can get a lot of food in a small area on one small farm and make a lot of money, make a good income, and help people, bless people, and help people heal. The more healthy food we grow, the more nutrient dense food we grow, the healthier we're going to be, the less we're going to need to go to the physician. If I were to add up the number of years of my family between my wife, former wife, ex-wife, and 5 children, I think it adds up to something like, I don't know, 150 years of life with not seeing a doctor. Okay, never seeing a doctor. A couple of them, a broken arm in my son, and that was just a walk-in clinic. Um, Baby dying in the womb. I mean, 8.5 month old stillbirth, 8-pound baby boy. That went to the hospital for that. No, it didn't. She birthed that at home. Sorry. My daughter had a very bad miscarriage, 7 months or so. Went on for 2 months, and anyway, that was a required a hospital visit. Um, about it. A couple times, stitch. No, we usually super glue takes care of most stitches. Most midwives you find a midwife, they can stitch you up. So yeah, 150 years or so of life with not seeing a doctor, and we don't go to the hospital, don't go to the doctor. Period. Just pray for healing and and eat right. Eat healthy as you can, exercise. Doctor Fresh Air, Doctor Sunshine, Doctor Exercise, and Doctor Good Food. Doctor Fresh Air, Doctor Sunshine, Doctor Exercise. Let food be thy medicine. Let medicine be thy food. So, if we don't eat food as our medicine, we will have to have medicine. We have to go to the doctor for different things. So, let food be thy medicine. That is basically a rule of thumb to live by. If you're taking any prescription drugs at all, probably not a good idea. Prescription drugs are pharmacy, right? Pharmakia. Look in the book of Revelation under Pharmakia. Revelation, I don't know, 19, I think it is. 19:4, if I'm not mistaken. Pharmakia. Sorcery. She hath deceived the nations by sorcery. And the word in Greek is pharmakia. By pharmacy. She's deceived and poisoned the nations. And what is going on right now? They're trying to vaccinate the entire world, right? They're trying to poison and pollute and deceive the nations. And it's exactly what's happening. The medical industry is deceiving the nations, all the nations of the world, into getting vaccinated, into taking pharmakia, for sorcery and witchcraft. And God hates it, absolutely hates sorcery and witchcraft. So if you do very much that, I understand in some cases there's some things you need to do, but minimize it. Try to back off. Find an alternative method of dealing with that issue and concentrate on that. Study it to the nth degree. Work on it. Ask advice. And a lot of people have gotten off their medications, whether it be heart disease or blood pressure, diabetes. Get away from those things. If you have a problem with your bowels, clean up your bowels, clean up your digestive system, clean up your liver and your kidneys. Do a liver cleanse, do a kidney cleanse. My friend Bill has gout, and he says gout is just a precursor to kidney disease, total kidney failure, and then you're dead, or you get on renal therapy. What do you call it? Whatever that. I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, you're on a regular regimen of going to the hospital and having your kidneys flushed. Dialysis, yeah, dialysis. That's the thing. Anyway, I know a guy that's on that. Anyway, so the whole thing is, deal with your health, your own self. Deal with your health, your own self, your own darn self. So that's what we need to do. We need to be enough people in an area to take care of ourselves to where we don't need outside help. We don't need outside interference. If you come here to the OzArk Plateau, basically, you're in a region, within an overall region. And there's just some bad areas here. You have some bad people here. No question, absolutely. I just had occasion to talk to to call a guy on a property, a real estate agent. He was a local guy to the area where the property was, and I asked him. I said, "What's the sheriff like there?" I said, I know some bad things about him." And he said, "We just got a new sheriff, just voted a new guy in. He's a young guy. He's more aggressive, so it sounds like it's going to be a good deal." I'm specifically talking about a county that I've talked about several times before, OzArk County. I've said repeatedly that's a catch and release county. They catch meth dealers, they bust them, they collect money from the federal government, they release them, bust another one, get their money, release them, and just rotating, revolving door. They never get busted, they never get sent away, they never get prosecuted, they never get fined, they never get, nothing bad ever happens to them. Basically, they're catch and release. Well, maybe that's going to change now. It'd be nice to have that change. Because I know for a fact from a friend that lives there that he's the one that told me it was catch and release. So maybe that's going to stop. Maybe some areas of the country, of the Ozarks, maybe some of these counties get cleaned up a little bit. So anyway, kind of going on and on, just getting some things off my mind. Get ready to help people. Get ready to move yourself if you're not where you want to be. If you have been praying about relocating, pray seriously, because there's a lot of places where you're not going to be able to stay where you're at. Just things are going to change. We're going to see some. I believe we're going to see judgment. Like I said, I've said this repeatedly, but I think that you're going to initially see some things happen that are going to affect everybody in the country. But what this prophecy said, this woman that did this prophecy, she's saying that God's people will not be touched, and that's what I've said too. Is that so? I agree with that part. God's people will not be touched by the plagues and the evil that's going to come on this country. Now, some of them are until the point where we actually get real. People are not going to change. I'm not going to see. I don't think they're going to see any change. I can say what I've been saying the same thing over and over again since I'm blue in the face until I'm hoarse. For the next 10 years, and nothing's ever going to change unless people experience some suffering. You start suffering, and maybe we're going to see some changes. A friend sent me a link for a video about the 21 martyrs in Libya who were beheaded. Was about 2010 or 11. I'm not sure what year it was, but the 21 martyrs, they did not renounce Jesus, and so they were beheaded. Now, of course, it talks about Revelation, the book of Revelation, about the martyrs that were under this altar, who the souls had beheaded. So a very popular way of getting rid of Christians, by the Islamic people, Muslims, also Jews. If you're not familiar with the Noahide lights, you might want to look them up. We have the Ten Commandments in the Bible. Well, the Jews have their Noahide laws. There's only 7 of them, and one of them is that on the testimony of one person, on the accusation of one person, you can be beheaded. All they have to do is say that person blasphemed against God. They said that Jesus is God, and there is no judge. Jesus is not God. They don't believe Jesus is God. Neither do the Islam. So they will both behead you, and that's the penalty in the Noahide laws, is to be beheaded. Okay, so not cool. So anyway, beheading is a popular way of getting rid of Christians. So you might just consider that. Okay, just a word to the wise. But anyway, so moving right along, I'm gonna take a look at see who's on, comments or anything. And other than that, I'm gonna get a drink here. My Icelandic water. Come on, should have had it off already. Come on. Well, I think life gets real serious, and people are going to start getting serious, and they're not going to get serious until life gets serious. And I'm talking serious as in deadly. It's going to get that way fairly soon, and it's going to be getting a lot more deadly. I mean, I felt that way for years, for decades. I felt that way. See who's on here. CJ John, hello there. Been a while since I've seen you on. Sorcery, yep. Farmer Key, up. Most of the doctors are so liberal and have been trained from pharmacy. Yeah, yeah, they're all brainwashed pretty much. Yeah, get rid of farms and dismantle the family structure. Absolutely. 17 commandments, 13 subjects. Okay, whatever. Generally, there's only 10. You know that. I don't know if you're trying to be funny or whatever, but I mean, I know there's rules, there's laws, but commandments, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. Yeah. Honor thy father and thy mother. There's 10 of those. There's 639 commandments if you want to get technical. C.J. John says that. C.J. John says, yeah, that's why when the Obama was the imposter, the United States government bought some 10,000 modern guillotines. Yeah, I've heard those stories going back to 1793. Read it. Read what? Again, a pronoun without a noun. Read the book. Read the statement. I don't know. I might figure it out here, but read it. Read it. Or you just ribbit, 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 ribbit. Read it. Read it. It's kind of interesting. Right after the Ten Commandments in Exodus 20, it goes right into how to build an altar, how to buy a slave, and how to buy a concubine. Of course, we just as a modern culture, we despise slavery and we don't believe in having more than one wife. According to the Roman system that we live under, the system of Rome. What does it say in Timothy? In the latter days, men will forbid to marry. Yep. Rome will forbid to marry. Of course, the Roman society was very much homosexual because they practiced homosexuality until they had enough wealth to get married. And then they get married, and if they didn't like the wife, they'd kill her, put her away, poison her, have her shot, whatever, and then marry another one called serial polygamy. But anyway, all right, so I think I'm about played out. Basically, I'm just saying, everybody get ready and do what you can to prepare to help other people. Um, keep on keeping on. Yep, till Christ returns. Amen. I'm scrolling through all the comments. Yeah, basically, talk about C.J. John said, yeah, that's why they had to get rid of all the farms. They also had to dismantle the family structure. And see, that's the salvation of this country is going. The survivors, the remnant, are going to be living on family farms, and that's the whole thrust of what I was part of founding was the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance here in Missouri and over the Ozark Plateau, and that is that the hope of this country is the Jeffersonian farm, Thomas Jefferson's ideal of a family farm, where you can have um, you know, people growing their own food, providing for other people, providing food, being healthy, fresh air, exercise, raising children in a safe environment. That's where we all need to be. And I'm telling you, if we don't have an area of the country large enough to do that, there's only one that is, that qualifies as such, and that's the Ozark Plateau. Ain't nobody going to make it. You're not going to be able to be out there in Portland and Washington and Idaho, all by yourself, trying to do that. It ain't going to happen. I don't believe for very long. We're going to see a level of violence and invasion in this country that people cannot even begin to imagine. I can because I have a good imagination. I've read it before. I've already read the history of it. Called science fiction. It's already I've read it. I was reading a whole series of books one time, and I said to my wife, I said at the time, I said, "This is not science fiction. This is history. It just hasn't happened yet." That's how real it felt to me, and how it resonated in my heart. That this life is going to get like this someday. Maybe not that exact scenario, but it's going to be very similar. And if you read "There Is No Death," the chapter 4, "I See the Future," what she sees in that chapter, what she described in that chapter, I'm going to read it on my channel. Totally right on. Totally right on. So get a clue. Read that book. Get it. Whatever. Listen to me read that chapter 4. If nothing else, read chapter 4 or listen to me read it. You can do it for free online. You can do it tonight when you get done here. Listen to it because that is exactly what's going to happen. Everything in there is going to happen, including the zombie apocalypse. She doesn't use those words, but what she describes in there is exactly a zombie apocalypse. If you imagine the entire cities on the East Coast, every city, add them up. Just get a calculator and try to do that. Take every city on the East Coast or total population east of the Mississippi in the cities. How much of the population base is in the cities versus in the country? Now, if you're out in the country, you're just a target, east of the Mississippi. If you are in the big city or right near a big city, zombie apocalypse. You're talking if the entire city of New York empties out, not all more, but say the entire city of Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, Fort Worth area, Chicago, you know, all the large cities empty out and just go. If the people all go insane and just start ravaging, and they're not going to be looting, they're not going to be pillaging, they're not going to be plundering, they're going to be killing. That's what she sees in the book. Nothing. They're not stealing TVs. They're not robbing cars. They're not trying to find gold or drugs or anything or women or something. They're just killing to be killing, mad, mindless killing, and that's the zombie apocalypse for all practical purposes. So, just that's what it is. There's a guy Nathan Leal. Watchman's Cry is a website. Watchman's Cry. Nathan Nathan Leal Leal. Nathan Leal. And at one point he said in there, he says, what the dreams and visions that he has had personally when he saw the movie World War Z, World War Zombie with Brad Pitt. He said that movie was exactly what he saw in his dreams and visions. So get a clue, people. If you think life's going to continue as it is, if you think you can hang out where you're at and you're east of the Mississippi, I think you're sadly mistaken. In that book, There Is No Death, Chapter 4, she says there are 20 or 30 cities of light across the country, only 20 or 30. Most of them were west of the Mississippi. Only 3 or 4 were east of the Mississippi. That's saying there's only 3 or 4 places where people are going to be fairly safe for a little short amount of time. Get this, temporary. She says they were all temporary. All those 20 or 30 points of light were temporary. They all went to another place. They all went to a single location. That single location can only be one place. And she said it was a mountainous region. There's one area of the country that's inland, the interior U.S. highlands. It's a region that's what's called, quote unquote. Look at Wikipedia. Quote, interior U.S. highlands, and the Ozark Plateau is that the Ouachita Mountains and a few other surrounding little bits of Kansas or something, maybe Illinois, hilly parts of Kentucky, but the U.S. interior highlands, basically the Ozark Plateau, is the only place west of the Mississippi and east of the Rockies where everyone, all those 20 or 30 cities of light can gather. She said all those 20 or 30 cities of light were temporary, and they went somewhere else. She said she wasn't told exactly where, but she said it was to a mountainous region. Well, hello, people. I'm saying that this region was perfectly designed at creation for this particular point in time coming up. And now we're coming up really quick. I think we're going to see some massive changes here. February. I'm thinking something definitely in my life by June, because it'll be 7 years since my divorce. And I'm looking for a shemitah, a restoration and a healing to some degree in my family. Or I'm just going to walk away from everything. I'm willing to walk away right now from everything I have here. Well, I'd like to take my stuff with me, not everything, but as far as the people around here, I'd walk away from it right now because I'm not feeling loved. So I always put it that way, terribly much by anybody, and I'm feeling a lot of hate from a lot of people. Mostly hatred. That's hard to put up with. It's not healing. I need to be healed. I mean, I'm so torn up and so hurt, so beat up and rode hard and put away wet. That mostly because I did it myself. Yeah, like Rich Mullins, singer. You gotta listen to that last concert he did in Lufkin, Texas. Watch that whole concert, man. He says people come up to him and say, "You look terrible. Can we pray for you?" And he goes, "No, I deserve to be looked like I did. I've abused my body as much as possible for the last 20 years." He talks about it's a blessing being single. He says, I can pick up a hitchhiker without worrying about being killed. I don't have a wife and children to worry about. He says, if they kill me, I go on to glory. So anyway, yeah. But the point is that, I deserve to look the way I do. I've abused myself as much as possible over the last 20 years. Except for me, it's been 40 years. 1980 is when I started doing all this. So it's been a long time. It's been a long, hard, lonely road, definitely. One guy contacted me out of the blue. I never heard from him again. Came out and took me to dinner. And one of the things he said was that, he said, I know this has been a long, lonely road for you. I'm like, man, my wife don't even see that. She's part of the loneliness. But I said, how in the world can a complete stranger just feel that? He was like an angelic messenger to me. It's like a message from the Lord. I know this is just saying. I know this has been a long, lonely road for you, Jerry. Just hang in there, hang in there. Don't turn back. Don't turn back. I put my hand to the plow. I'm not turning back. Well, that's about it. I'm gonna close it down here in a little while. If you want to say anything or ask any other questions, holler out. There's a comment from CJ John. Okay. Okay, William Gray. This is back to the Ten Commandments thing. He says, count every thou shalt and thou shalt not seriously. Okay, fine. Exodus 20. No Ten Commandment dummy. What does that mean? That's not nice. Yeah, that's exactly the Noahide. Let's not talk about that anymore. West Virginia, where you're not that far, CJ. And land being that expensive, it's not really an issue because you don't have to buy land. You know, that's what I told my son one day. I kid you not, I said to him, Ian, we don't have to own land to grow food. You don't have to own land to build a house either. You don't have to own the land. People think they got to buy land and they got to do this. You don't have to. We moved here and lived in a house that somebody else built for 1 year, and then we got ejected from the community we were in, and had to find another place to live. So we bought a farm and paid it off in less than 1 year. So we lived here for an entire year, maybe 2 years, before we bought a farm. But we bought a farm for 10-acre farm for $20,000. So at the time, that wasn't that expensive. $22,000 an acre, with a house, shed, stable, well, roads, ponds, springs, on and on and on. Fencing, phone line, power line in, well was drilled, circular driveway, 2 hand dug ponds. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So point of the I'm making is that we paid that off in less than 1 year. So we lived here, we moved here, bought a place about 2 or 3 years later, and paid it off in less than 1 year. So that buying, you don't have to buy land and then just to move here. That's just ridiculous to think you have to do that. It's not true. Just move here. Have faith. Move. Do it. I'm not talking to you as particular. I'm just telling people in general. You just got to have faith. Get in the boat. Get in the car and drive or walk, whatever. Find it out when you get here. Find out. Make a way. The doors will open up. I mean, there's people everywhere around here that need help. Well, I told my son that one day. I said, Ian, there's people around here that have land that can't afford to take care of it. And I said, there's people around here that don't have 1,000 acres and they can't take care of it all. The next day after I said that, a man walked up my driveway and said, I'm looking for my dog. I raise dogs and I raise goats. And somebody shot or killed or stole my dog. And I'm looking for it. And I said, well, we've got a Great Pyrenees here. If you need her, you can borrow her. So he did. He borrowed her for a while till he got another dog. And he took me around, drove me around for like 3 hours, showing me all his properties. He said my goal in life was to own 1,000 acres, and I'm right about there. I had just said there's people around here that have 1,000 acres and can't take care of it. But just a few short years later, friends of ours were living on 400 of his acres at no charge to them. One guy was paying $50 a month for a 60-acre farm, which I'm on right now. $50 a month. The same thing. At the same time, I told Ian that about being able to grow food on someone else's property. I said there's people around here that have 1,000 acres can't take care of it. And I said we can rent farms for the cost of taxes, because I worked for a kid in Kansas, 19-year-old kid, rented a 80-acre farm for $75 a month because that's what the taxes cost. So 75 times 12, whatever, $900, whatever dollars a year. So my friend John moved here from Kansas, rented this farm that I'm on right now, 60 acres for $50 a month. Since 2006, he's been renting this farm for about $500 a year. Taxes. Boom. That's it. So you don't have to buy land. That's just silly. And John is still living in a farm that's, I don't know what it's worth, right now. The 20 acres that's left on it. My son bought 30 acres and Bill bought 10 acres. I'm living on my son's 30 and using the water and electricity from Bill's, but the 20 acres that's left there, I don't know, a couple $100,000, $300,000, I don't know. Like to have somebody buy that place out from under him, or buy it from the guy that owns it still. Maybe willing to sell it, I don't know. So but CJ, I just say, in West Virginia, you can come out and visit or whatever if you want. But if you really wanted to do it, just do it. All you got to do is obey. That's all you got to do. Put gas in the car and start driving, and God will open up doors. That's just what comes down to it. I don't know how big of a family you have. You might give any idea on that, but West Virginia's not that far. Especially if it was East Virginia, that'd be a different story. Virginia, it'd be a different story. But you're not that far away. My daughter lives in North Carolina. Very sad. I mean, I'm not sad, but I'm just kind of a bummer that she moved out of the OzArk Plateau. I brought everybody to my entire family. I brought them to safety. Every single one of my children and grandchildren lived here for quite a while until she moved out. But days drive you can get here, So come out, look around, find a place, move. I'll put this to you, CJ. What would it take for you to be able to move? What would be required? And just pray for that and see it happen. More and more there'll be places where you can, be able to. Well, here's what we need: we need to have a property where people can come, kind of a church camp, and there's different camps around that have been for sale at various times, or a campground basically, where you can come in. Okay, you can live there for 6 months, no charge. You can help out if you can, cut firewood, do help with gardening, help with cooking, cleaning, babysitting, whatever your capabilities are. Feed into the community, and you got 6 months to get on your feet. That would be a big blessing to be able to see that happen. And that's basically what I'm looking at doing, what I want to do. Help people relocate, and it takes time. You need a soft landing place, as they say, a place where you can start over. Pick up your pieces of your life. Whatever your life has been up to that point in time. But the thing is to get here with your tools, your family, your tools, your equipment, your vehicles, your belongings, but most important of all, yourself, your head, your brain. That's your most important thing you have. If you have something there, most people have something. If you're of the mindset you are, what's in your head is worth more than anything else you own. Just get here. Everything else will be replaced. Bring your family. Get here. Start over. If it comes down to it. I mean, I did. I walked away from everything I had in Denver. We packed. We moved what we could, but we left a lot there behind. We had a motto: cut your losses and burn your bridges. And we did. We cut our losses and we burned a bridge, and we never went back, except for another load, second load, and third load, and fourth load. I went back 3 more times for 3 more loads of belongings. But and it was traumatic. It was hard. It was difficult. But so what? We started over. I came to Kansas with no job. All I had was a place to stay, and it was a classroom in a schoolhouse, just 700 square foot classroom, basically, and started over, from scratch. Moved to Missouri, same thing. Had a job, had a place to stay. Started over from scratch, nothing. And within so from the time we left Denver in 1997, got to Missouri in 2000, let's say 2002, 2001, 2002, somewhere in there, and paid off a 20-acre farm in less than 1 year. So left Denver with nothing, no money, no nothing, not a nickel, really, basically, because I spent the entire paycheck I had to get to Kansas. So 1997. So by 2007, we'd, let's say, about 10 years from the time we left Denver, we had a 10-acre farm paid for in Missouri, and now we have 70 acres as a family. Actually, 120 acres. All of it paid for. So it can be done. You don't have to buy something before you move. We didn't. Neither time did I move. I moved to lock, stock, and tomahawk to Kansas, and then moved lock, stock, and tomahawk to Missouri. I did not own any land or a house in either case. You don't have to own something before you move. You do not have to own something before you move. You just need to move. God will give you the things you need. It says many times in Scripture that you will live in houses that you did not build. You will drink from wells you did not dig. You eat from orchards that you did not plant. You eat from gardens that you did not plant. So just have faith that that's going to happen. Just do it. You'll see it happen. So just hope that's an encouraging word for somebody out there. Please, Father, just bless these people out there and let them know that you don't have to. They can trust you and believe in you, that your word is actually true. Just test me now. Prove me whether I be. Prove me now. Bring the tithe into the storehouse and see the windows of heaven opened up and poured out on your life. If you haven't been tithing, start tithing. Start giving. Give to me. Give to somebody that's doing something for you. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together. That's what the Bible says. Don't call God a liar. He'll provide for you. He'll give you what you need. If you don't believe He will, then you're calling Him a liar. So don't call God a liar. Just move. Do it. Make it happen. Make it so, number one. All right, so enough on that issue for a little while. Funny people. What do we got going here? Who's on there? Solar Jim here. Hey, Solar Jim, how you doing? Compton's Homestead. How you doing there? Compton's Homestead, yeah. Okay, one wife so far, 4 children, 3 grandchildren. Okay, well, I got you beat there. I got 5 children, and I don't know, last count, it would take me all to count them up. 16, 17, 18 grandchildren. I don't know how many of the daughters and daughters-in-law are pregnant, but um, somewhere between 16 to 18 grandchildren, I think, right now, and counting. So, yeah, better to get here before you start having that many. I would be drive me crazy if they were scattered all over the country, and they're not. They're all here, except for my daughter and my grandson that she has. Yeah. So 2 of my progeny are not here in the Ozark Plateau, as far as I know. Everybody else is here. That's a blessing, a real blessing. They came here, feel like it's home now. If the sad thing would be to have moved here from Denver and then had 2 or 3 of my children go back to Denver. Oh, that would have just torn me up. So that happened to the great founder, grandfather who ever came over here in 1859. Daniel Diamond, Irish potato famine, right? Fled to America, ended up in Chicago. Got homesick for farming and growing things, so he went to Colorado and homesteaded out in the plains, Akron area, and you had to, in order to homestead 160 acres, you had to prove the land. You had to improve it, prove the land. So that means you had to have a well. You could not have a house. You could not have land without water. People still don't understand that. They're so stupid. They come in here and they buy acreage, 5 acres or 10 acres on 15 acres maybe on owner finance. They never bother to drill a well because they don't know they have to have water to live. Yeah, that's one thing Bill understands very clearly. Homesteading University been living, Homestead University living with him for the last 7 years or so. Learned a lot, from Colorado and his experience. He homesteaded in Colorado, homesteaded in Alaska, homesteaded in Colorado, homesteaded in Arkansas twice, and now homestead in Missouri. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth time at least. Yeah, the fifth time he's homesteaded, starting over. And I'm talking bare land from scratch. There was not a fence post on this land when he bought it. So everything that's been done here has been done since he got here in 2006 or 7, 2007 or 8 or 9 or something like that. So come out here and live on somebody else's property, rent. I want to, we'll have a sharecropper here before long because I'm already thinking about talking to Bill about that. If I were to stay here, I would want to say, look, can I just lease 2.5 acres, grow food on it, and I'll pay you out of what I grow there, because he doesn't want to do anything. I mean, we built a greenhouse, built a rocket stove, but the rocket stove got torn down. So what good did that do him? Nothing. Anyway, you know, I want to do some different ideas. I want to grow bamboo. I want to grow microgreens. Grow mushrooms and things like that. But pay for the land in rental. Pay for it in food sales. Anyway, so that's the whole 9 yards. And I want to say again, everybody can come back to this video and look at it tomorrow and read the comments, or you can also click on live chat and read all the chat that's there if you missed it. If you came in late or something, you can always go back tomorrow. Listen to it. It'll be uploaded by tomorrow morning sometime. I'll have the description in there with the things I mentioned. Try to remember everything that I said. I'll put a link in there for that. I already kind of forgot one of them, but I go back and listen to it and give all the links. Okay. Make comments that way. If I go to your channel and subscribe to your channel, if you've been talking on here, I go to your channel and subscribe and look see your playlists and videos and stuff if you have any. So I'll do that for you, CJ John. I'm not sure if I have yet or not, but I found that I can go to YouTube Studio and click on your icon and it takes me to your channel. That's pretty cool. Or I click on the live chat. That's what it is. I go to YouTube Studio and then click on the video and then go to the regular YouTube video and click on live chat. And from the live chat, I can click on see your icon. So that's how I found a lot of the channels that have been commenting. People have been commenting, like Nature Girl from Florida. I never heard from her again. Nature Girl, if you're out there, hello. Ed and Jen, shame. I'm sad that you haven't gotten back in touch with me. Hope everything's okay. If anybody ever gets on here, There's a guy that's on here, Ray Sova, who's down there by you, and you could come up together, convoy together if you can hook up. But he's going to be leaving, I guess, another week or two. He's going to be leaving. He's been recuperating from an operation. Trying to talk clearly. My voice is getting scratchy and getting bad. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh, Shelly says, "Oh, email me." 3 years ago, emailed. Okay. Good night, Jeremiah. What part of Missouri are you living in? Where I'm living in? I am in Cedar County, which is about an hour drive north of Springfield. If you find Springfield going north about an hour, find Humansville. Bolivar is about half an hour, 30 miles north of Springfield, and Humansville is about 15 miles north of Bolivar, and then I'm west of Humansville about 15 minutes, and I'm north Stockton about 20 minutes, 30 minutes out in the country, basically somewhere out in the country. Okay, so that's basically where I'm at, and I'm looking at Dora, Drury area. I'm looking at some properties over that way, Hartsville, another one I'm looking at. So just looking for a property for a couple that wants to move here, and hopefully there'll be room there for me and maybe two other people to help out on the place. So it'll be a big enough property to be able to support and require other help. You can't just run a place, a farm, with no help. Not possible. So anyway, all right, that's about it. So yeah, CJ, yeah, just be blessed, sir, and we'll talk. Yeah, drop me another. Stay in touch, and if you got my email, that's good. We'll touch base back and forth, and if you think you can swing sometime coming out to visit, do it. It'd be. Here's what I tell people: say, come out here and visit, because then you'll feel, you'll know, you'll if it's the right place for you, you'll know it. I mean, you'll just feel at home. And some people have been out here. One guy's out here literally for 45 minutes, and he said, "Jerry, this is another completely different world from the world I live in, and I'm done with it. I'm moving." So by the time I saw him next, he had moved 80% of his stuff to Missouri, down by Diamond, Missouri. Okay, well, I'm gonna say goodnight. Oh, Shelly, yep, you emailed me about 3 minutes ago. You emailed, okay, do it again. Drop me another note there if you can. Solar Jim, oh, Shelly, I'll try to find that. Because the fact that you emailed doesn't do me much good, because I don't remember your email. So I'm going to scroll up to the top and then say goodnight to everybody. So good night, William Gray. Good night, Ray. Good night, Gregory, William Gray. Good night, Ray, and William Gray. Good night, Jeremiah. Good night, Leah. Good night, Ray. William Gray. Chemical fact, question mark. Sometime, William, if you want to make further explanation without any insults on the Ten Commandments thing. CJ. Tamara. Hello there, Tamara. Good night, Tamara. CJ John, Mexican boy. I didn't see that one. And the Sally Solar Jim. Hello, Solar Jim. Good night, Jeremiah. That's about it. Zap and kaboom. Good night, everybody. Goodbye. Michael Allen. Good night, Michael. God bless you. All right, everybody. Good night. Pasta lasagna. Hasta la vista, baby. So, good night. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.